Jeep people, you're all crazy. You all know it, and I respect you for it. You like trucks that date back to World War II, that get terrible gas mileage, are really prone to flipping over, and you don't care, because it's fun. The Wrangler is an American icon that does whatever it wants, just like you. But things are a little different now. This is the Wrangler 4xe, a plug-in hybrid, which means for the first time in about 25 years, I'm driving a Power Wheels Jeep. So you can go out and buy this life-size electric Jeep, a diesel Jeep, or one with the Hemi V8 that my buddy Matt Smith just tested. If you're interested in a Wrangler though, you don't need CarGurus telling you how cool these vehicles are, because you're gonna buy one anyway. But what you wanna know is if the 4xe is worth the premium over a regular Wrangler. So let's go out and do some Jeep things. This is the Rubicon, and it's the same Rubicon you can buy with a diesel V6, a gas V6, or a gas V8. The capability, the clearance, the look, it's all the same. There's just a few small details that are different. You're out on the trail with other Jeep fans, so how do you spot a 4xe? Right there. Bright blue tow hooks front and rear, and bright blue lettering, graphics, hood decals, Jeep badges, everything like that. It's all bright blue, it's exclusive. And if you look over here, there's a second fuel filler door. It's metal. It's a charging port. Other than that, it looks like any other Wrangler. This is the Rubicon trim, which means it still has the same 33-inch tall all-terrain tires, a 44-degree angle approach, which is absolutely insane, 11 inches of clearance, and the ability to ford 2.5 feet of water, because that's what you do on a daily basis. Now I know Jeep people actually will test this to the limits, so that's what this vehicle can do. Mechanically, it's the same. Now if you don't want this, you can still get the Sahara, but only in the 4-door Unlimited. The 4xe is not in the 2-door configuration. Inside, what's new? Not much. Just some blue lettering on the seats and blue stitching throughout the cabin. This is new. It's a progress bar that shows you the battery's charge from afar. These buttons change the driving modes. There's 3 of them. The instrument panel replaces the speedo with a power gauge that tells you how much energy you're using. And in this center screen, there's more reconfigurable gauges to show you the battery charge, range, and how aggressively you're braking and accelerating. I'm sitting on top of the battery pack. It's 17 kilowatt hours, which is big, but not that big. I can't really notice any difference in space. It's just as airy and roomy inside this Wrangler like any other Wrangler. Behind the seats, you lose a little bit of storage because of the battery, but with all the seats folded, it's 72 cubic feet. Plenty of space. But you probably want to know how it drives, so let me get up here. This is the best part. No roof, no windshield, no windows, no doors. It all comes apart with a nice little twist, which I'm not going to do right now because I like my life and a thunderstorm's about to hit us.
So far so good. The soft top actually works. And when you're in a Jeep, you actually think you're in a camp tent. The fact that no water is coming down and drenching us right now is very impressive, because this is not a very easy top to operate. Once it's back, it's fine. That part is easy. There's like a 2-step process there, but to remove the side windows and everything else, I'm glad I didn't do that before, because the skin wouldn't be this dry. We would have just left it.
This is a very complex powertrain, so bear with me. We'll go piece by piece. The engine is a Turbo 4. It's the same 2-liter you can buy in a regular Wrangler. That's the mild hybrid version. It can't do all these things, but it can still do advanced auto stop start, all the stuff that Jeeps could never do before. Pairs with an 8-speed automatic, same exact transmission. The difference, there's a 134 horsepower electric motor sandwiched between that transmission and the back of the engine. So that lets me drive in any condition, just like a regular Wrangler. It shifts through all the gears, really doesn't behave much different. And yeah, you can hear the engine going on and off, turning off, but the reason why you don't really get the jerkiness of, say, other hybrids is because it's got plenty of power. There's another electric motor on the engine. It replaces the starter motor and the alternator. So while this engine is firing on and off, that motor's taking care of that business, and the other motor, it's getting me where I gotta go. And the stopping, surprisingly, is pretty good. The regenerative brakes really feel natural. And you can also press a save regen button here if you really want to have that one pedal driving effect of an EV. Kind of weird to be doing that in a Jeep, but you might find it useful on a trail downhill. In ordinary situations, the 4xe feels just like a heavier version of, say, the V6 or the diesel, because there's a lot of torque in here. When you put your foot down all the way, it's 470 pound-feet. That's more than the diesel. It matches the new Wrangler 392 with that V8. So that's a lot, and it's got 375 horsepower, but what you gotta remember, all the weight of the battery, this is a 17 kilowatt hour pack, and all the extra hardware that requires, this is over 5,000 pounds. So this is one of the heaviest Wranglers you can get. And none of these vehicles are light. But it doesn't feel as fast as you would think it would with those type of numbers. But it does get out of its own way pretty well. And honestly, I feel like the two powertrains together, because plug-in hybrids are a very complex thing. They really are. But they talk to each other. And you don't really get the delay. You don't get them fighting each other back and forth. You just put your foot down and it just goes. And it's a bit loud. Got the roof off, you know, the roof is gone. What are you talking about? It's not off. It's just loud. That's what all Jeeps are. So to be honest, I don't think that the engine turning on or turning at higher revs really makes a difference in this car, because if you drive Jeeps, if you've ever been in a Jeep, you're not expecting quiet, you're certainly not expecting comfort. So I don't really see any difference there. So right now, I'm entering a trail. It's really nice and quiet. Now what Jeep plans to do, they plan to have charging stations at certain off-road locations and parks and other places. We don't have that right now. But where I am in Massachusetts, it's kind of eerie to be driving along in this Jeep. There's the leaves. That's about the loudest sound that I can hear right now. And that's nice. It really is. There's something kind of special and isolating about, I don't know, it kind of connects you into nature a little more. It's like I'm hiking, but I'm in this giant truck and it's barely making a sound other than those giant tires. So you can be in off-road mode and any mode here, 21 miles of electric driving on the battery. And once that depletes, then your combined average is roughly 20 mpg. So that's not that incredible, right? The diesel does better, the gas V6 is actually pretty good. But if you're plugging in a lot, well, it might work with your lifestyle. And you don't have to sacrifice anything with the Wrangler, especially the Rubicon, because you can just bite off a rock. Is it there? Is it not? Barely even feel that. It's just, yeah, it's the same great off-road truck that you'd expect. So you're not getting any compromise with the capability. You're just getting different capability with the powertrain. Is it good? Is it bad? You're gonna have to make that decision. I think it's pretty complicated and it costs a lot of money to add all this stuff, but at the end of the day, every Jeep Wrangler that I've been driving and most of the ones I see people buying, they all cost 60 grand. So what do you want to do? You want to spend 60 grand on the 4xe or on a regular Rubicon? Because guess what? Cheap Jeeps, that day is long gone. So when you're making your Wrangler shopping decision, the 4xe is 10 grand more than a regular Rubicon or 10 grand more than a regular Sahara. To start, right? That's a lot of money. It's also a little over 5 grand more than the diesel. So, what does that mean? Well, it means that if you can plug this in at your house or your office or wherever you are every day, then yeah, it's worth it. If you don't have access to that, well, you're saddling around all this extra weight, all this hardware, all this extra cost for nothing. So if you're not plugging this plug-in hybrid in, exit, get the regular Jeep hybrid or get any of the other fuels and engines that you can choose from. So that's really what you got to ask yourself first. This car, this Jeep, is definitely not for everybody. The 4xe still has the same terrible steering and horrible handling, but that's true of any Jeep Wrangler on road, especially the Rubicon. When this thing goes off-road, wow, I mean, it's exceptional to a degree that shouldn't even be built by humans. You'd think aliens came down and blessed this thing with some sort of voodoo, I don't know. I don't do those things, and I see a lot of Jeep owners driving on the road all the time. So they're kind of fighting the steering, right? They're struggling to stay in their lanes, but they love it. And you get that this is a truck. It is not a regular car or SUV, not by any means. So as long as you understand that, and if you're a first-time Jeep owner, you'll learn really fast why not to go too fast in this car. The 8.4-inch Uconnect screen is fast and easy, just like any Jeep. You can see the inner workings of the hybrid system and choose to charge the battery while you drive. That's called eSave. Now, it's not the greatest idea if you choose the battery charge function because it runs the engine, sometimes at higher revs, and it wastes gas because it's always trying to charge the battery. That's not an efficient way to drive. However, if you use the battery save function, that will preserve the battery at the current charge. Otherwise, the hybrid setting will always try to drain the battery while you're driving. So if you want to save it for later, this is a really good way to do that. Otherwise, you can just leave it in hybrid mode and the Jeep will figure it all out for you. Otherwise, the 4xe is a Wrangler, which is low-tech. Yes, you can get adaptive cruise and blind spot monitoring, but no semi-automated driving. You have power windows, power locks, heated seats, and a good Alpine stereo. Noise insulation, side curtain airbags, power seats. You won't find any of those here. The Wrangler 4xe starts at $49,805 for the Sahara and $53,505 for the Rubicon. That's a $10,000 premium over the regular V6. Our car had another 10 grand in options and cost $64,470 with destination. The Jeep qualifies for a $7,500 federal tax credit and might get you some more rebates from your state. But really, the 4xe isn't any more expensive than any other Wrangler, at least not the ones I'm driving. They're all pricey, and they don't depreciate. Used late model Wranglers cost almost as much as new ones. No one offers a plug-in 4x4 this hardcore. Not now, and certainly not soon. There's nothing else like it. I'm really impressed with the 4xe's powertrain because it really doesn't dramatically change the feeling and character of a regular Jeep. It's still really loud, it's still really clumsy to drive, but hey, all Jeeps are. It's really, really fun. So that's pretty cool. It's not much compromise going on right here. So you get to choose 4xe, Hemi, soft top, hard top, manual. What do you want? You tell us. And go to CarGurus.com to see more content. We got more Jeep videos coming up. Subscribe, and thank you for watching. See you next time.